Our today's specialty class is called Introduction to Sous-Vide, and I've promised you a chef. Ta-da! Surprise! No, I'm joking. It's not me. I'm nowhere near being a chef, only because I have Thermomix. Obviously, I can try making chefy things, but no, we do have a real chef here today with us, and I'm going to introduce you to Chris Tandy in a moment. And we also have Megan back, both of them my team members of our beautiful Jules here in the Bayside Thermomix area. So what we want to do today is introduce you to a special cooking technique that's called sous-vide. And it's a French name, and sous vide stands for under vacuum, or means under vacuum in French. And what's so special with sous vide cooking is it's a very chefy way of cooking. So that's not your everyday cooking. This is certainly something you do on a Wednesday night when food needs to get fast on the table. This is something that you want to try when you want to make something special. And when you have a Thermomix, you already have a great tool that's important when it comes to sous vide cooking, and that means you have a tool that have exact temperature settings. And I'm going to show you that in a moment as well. So sous vide cooking actually means that we are cooking our food in a plastic bag, and it's slow and low, so it needs time. So this means unlike slow cooking, it's also low and slow, but you cook your complete dish in a pot, in a special pot, or you can also use the Thermomix for that. But sous vide difference is that you actually put your food into a plastic bag, you vacuum seal it, so you suck all the air out, and the food cooks in its own juices. And what it does, the major difference here is that over time it infuses itself with all the different flavors. So Chef Chris will tell us a little bit more about that because he knows so much more about that than I do. This is just a broad overview. So sous vide is nothing but a cooking technique. A cooking technique like frying, braising, so this is just another technique that you can start incorporating into your food if you want to. What it does, it produces results that are impossible to achieve with any other cooking method. And that is because we with the exact temperature setting, we can achieve a result that has an exact level of doneness every single time. So what I want to encourage you today is have a pen and paper ready, because we are actually going to share a couple of things with you that are not to be found on Cookie Dough. And we will do a couple of recipes that are not on Cookie Dough. We just do them free for what would you say? Not free range.
Freestyle.
Freestyle, thank you. That's what it is. Yeah, we make them up as we go. Now we practice them a little bit, but so there's lots of really good tips available there for you. So let's get started. What are the best foods to sous vide? More or less, you can sous vide anything, and this contains the meat, so any proteins, meat, fish, eggs. we got to have some eggs today. Actually, eggs are the most popular things to be done by sous vide. Fruit and vegetable. So you can sous vide basically anything that you want. Here's the thing. For example, when it comes to beef, all the tougher cuts are excellent for sous vide, because when you do your other cooking techniques with them, the tougher cuts really, they take too long. They're not really smooth and tender, but with sous vide, we can actually make them tender and they fall apart in your mouth. This is what you want to achieve with sous vide cooking. Lamb is also quite difficult to get it on point. A very good protein or very good meat type to try sous vide on, because again, you will have a tenderness and you have not a chance to overcook it. How good is that? But also vegetables, for example, carrots are really good because they do have the natural sugar in them. So if they infuse themselves in the bag, then lots more flavor will be produced by cooking them in their own juice. What I've prepared here is also, that's another great sous vide vegetable, is asparagus, right? So I've already took the air out of them, and all you need to do is you basically just have them flat lying there next to each other, and then this way they are ready to go. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to start off today with some prawns, so garlic prawns. This is not a recipe that's available anywhere. That is just a recipe that I came up with because I'm so creative. No, I was craving for garlic prawns, and I couldn't see anything that in the on Cookie Dough that matches. So I thought, well, why not? I've got a sous vide machine right here, so let's give it a go. All right, so a couple of things when it comes to thermic cooking. No, just stay with me, not on the machine first. Yeah, thank you. I'll just get you a little bit closer here, so then we can see a couple of things. So I'm going to use the Sous-Vide bags that we do have available in the mix shop, and you can see they have a little air valve here on the top, and I'm using also this Sous-Vide vacuumer, is that what it's called?
Vacuum sealer?
A vacuum sealer, yes. Thank you. So it's a little machine. When I turn it on, you can hear the sound. So it's sucking the air out, and all I need to do is to pop that here on top, and then it sucks out the air. So what I'm going to do first is I have prepared my prawns. I just salted, peppered them, and so that's all at the moment what's in there. So I'll pop them in my bag. I've cut up a couple of slices of garlic, popping them in there as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of salted butter into my bag. And this is the beauty. You can go really crazy. You can be very creative. So whatever you want to do, feel free to do it. You know, the more flavor you add to the bag, the better the result's going to be. And some fresh dill, because I really think that dill and prawns or fish go really well together. Okay, so very important also is, and we're going to talk about that later when I have a chat with Chris about that, is that you need to be you need to be careful with the hygiene. So that's all I want to pop in there for now. Instead of butter, I could also just infuse that with a little bit of oil. So I could just give a couple of pumps with my oil spray into there. So that's completely up to you. So these bags, they also come with that little clip, and it's just to make sure that you close them completely. Sometimes they, oh, this is great. Worked so much better. I'm a bit nervous. I'm working from this side now. But you can use the clip or don't, and just making sure that it's completely sealed. So that clip basically goes down top, and just one time you go from back to end. So this should be now completely sealed. And what they do recommend is that you hang the bag. Maybe a lot bit closer. All right, so I just hang the bag over my my kitchen bench here, and all I do is start sucking the air out. There we go. All right, so you can see it's already happening. All right, and it also says here, don't go over that maximum filling line. All right, so now you can see it has crumbled a little bit, so it has taken out all the air out of my bag. And what I'm going to use, so a couple of ways that you can use your Thermomix to pop the sous vide bag into the bowl. I'm going to use the blade cover today. I'm a little bit further up now. The famous blade cover, which is always sold out because everyone wants that. I was lucky. I got my hands on one, and just letting you know, they are also during November. They're our host rewards. So if all you need to do is invite some friends to come to a cooking experience or a cooking class like this today, and if their friends love what they're seeing and they think they want to go ahead buy a Thermomix, then you would receive that host reward, a blade cover, for free. It's not available in the mix shop at the moment, so you would have to, if you want to get your hands on one now, you would need to host a cooking experience. All right, what I've done here earlier is I just brought up the water to temperature, and now I'm going to add my blade cover on top, and I'm using my tongs because the water is already quite hot. It's 62 degrees to be very precise. Sous vide is always it's all about precise temperatures. And I also just pop in a little bit of squirts of the lemon juice, and come to that also in a second. So now what I'm doing is I just fold my bag and make sure it's sitting in there. All my prawns, and it's covered with water, so it's sitting in there in the water, and obviously we just need to keep an eye on the maximum filling line here when we pop the bags in. All right, so I don't know if you actually can see that. You can also see that from that screen. We can also go. Is it good?
Good? Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, then let's stay here. So let me go back. So I want to show you the difference with sous vide cooking and normal cooking. So, we have the temperature setting in the middle, and we start from 37, and then you can see it goes in steps of 5, right, all the way up to Varoma temperature. And with sous vide, we need a little bit more precise temperature settings than the steps of 5. So that's why we go all the way to the right, and choose the sous vide setting, sous vide mode from our machine. Now, when you touch it on for the first time, you will get that information screen. So this is when you want to go freestyle, like I do it at the moment. It gives you information about how to sous vide in your Thermomix, and basically everything that I just said is written in here for you. If you click that off and you want to go back into that information screen, so you can see a little eye symbol there on the top, all you need to do is click on there again, and then you find that information again. That's almost for every of the modes that's available. All right, so now you can see the temperature, the time setting. It's actually not minutes and seconds, and now it's hours and minutes. So this has been set as per default. It's on 30 minutes. I think my prawns, they only need 20 minutes, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But this is what I wanted to show you with the temperature setting. So we started at 37 earlier. Here we start at 41, and then you can see we go in 1 increment all the way up. Okay, so this means you can have exact temperature control to the T. And my prawns are actually going to cook for 20 minutes on 62 degrees. And all I need to do is then just turn the dial on. And now my blade cover is started turning. So actually it goes backwards, and the blade cover does the following. It protects the bag from touching the blades, right? So it's safe in there, and it just slowly turns it and produces, well, an even distribution of the heat in there. And again, now I can walk away and do something else. And something else in this case means we're heading over to Megan's kitchen. Megan is, hi there, how are you today?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you everyone. I'm going to be making sous-vide strawberries with white chocolate mousse. This one is from Cookie Doo. So it's an easy step-by-step version, and it makes a lovely dessert. So you do need to do this a little bit in advance, so I've done some prep for you. It's actually, rather than I would say, it's more like a cheesecake. So here I have the cheesecake prep. So it's just pretty simple. It's a biscuit base that you just use some bought biscuits. You can use a granita or a chocolate one that I've used here. And then the white chocolate mousse is made with white chocolate. Obviously, use a good quality one, and cream cheese and cream cheese and some cream. Now, I must admit, it did say to use whipping cream, and I didn't. I used pure cream, so mine's a bit actually thicker than the whipping cream version that you'll see in the picture of the white chocolate mousse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called the Doo.
Anyway,
so you do need,
overnight,
yes,
right?
that's right. It says overnight or it actually says 1 hour, but yes, I've done mine overnight, so they're ready to go. And next, then you're doing the sous vide part, the strawberries. And so I have also got the little bag from Thermomix, but I think Chris is going to talk to us about how you can just use a snap lock bag. So you could just simply use one of these, but I've got that fortunately. And it's just about 400 grams of strawberries and some orange juice, or you could use an orange liqueur, would be very lovely, and some maple syrup and some basil leaves. Yes, adult version. Yeah. Or if you wanted the kids to go to sleep early. Right, so that is there. And I am also going to use the groovy little air remover. So as we've talked about, you want to have your items, your ingredients sort of flat, but not up into the little corner there. And so I'm going to start that, and then I will put it over the bench. But because I'm going to start it flat, so you won't be able to see that just now, I'll move it in a minute, so that it starts swishing down the strawberries before they move up in the bag. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But I love this little bag, this little, what is this called? What do we call this?
A vacuum sealer.
A vacuum sealer. It's very cool. So you can see it's already starting, and now I can just do as Jenny has done, hang it over the bench. And now the reason for that is that you don't want liquid going up into the top, because it'll start sucking out the liquid. We'll just finish that off.
And what I really like about this one is that, first of all, the bags are reusable, and the little tool there is rechargeable with a USB cable, so it comes with no batteries, which is great. Yeah, great. And so you can actually you can do that. That's right. You can put things into the freezer so that they're flat. You could use it for camping, when you want to seal something up before you go camping, say meat or something. Anyway, so in the recipe, it actually makes 2 bags, but I've done one in advance because I wanted to show you the cool strawberries, which I'll show you later. So that is ready to go into the Thermomix. I also have a blade cover, so I'm using that, but you can use your simmering basket. So you could put it into there if you don't have the blade cover. You just have to squish it in there a little bit more. Also, when you're using just water, the recipe tells you to put some lemon juice or ascorbic, is that how you say that? Acid. Now you can get the ascorbic acid at the chemist or a health food shop, and it just prevents rust in your Thermomix. Now it's only for just water, so when you're using tomatoes or whatever it is,
you know, for other recipes, why are we not doing that? That's because that already has quite a lot of acid in it in food we cook. Anyway, that goes in there, and that's going to cook away for 18 minutes. Push that in. And I already have the water, it is already hot, and mine is on 80 degrees. So at the end, we're going to come out with some sort of like macerated strawberries. So I will see you a little bit later.
Gianni, we have a good question in the chat. How long does the vacuum last on charged? Just want to know for camping. Do you know?
Yeah. I haven't timed it exactly. I just I've loaded mine again just before this class, so it doesn't let me down, obviously. But I've only charged it once since I have it, and I've vacuumed quite a bit with it. So I can't really say how many hours, but the charging goes very quickly, and it's a USB charger. So I think even if you go camping, you usually have one of these adapters with you. So have a look. So it is like you have with the, you know, it's a very common USB charger. So you might have that already from a different tool. They're available. But yeah, it's a great tip and a great question. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for that. All right, finally, we're heading over to Chef Chris, and he's the latest member of my team. I'm so proud to have a real chef in my team, and we're all going to learn so much from you, Chef. And don't mind my funny head. You look so much more professional.
Thanks, Jenny. Hello, everyone.
What are you going to show us today?
We're going to do some scrambled eggs.
Woo!
And very, very, very good in the sous vide machine. As Jenny said, sous vide is a fantastic way to cook. I first did these scrambled eggs a couple of days ago, sous vide, and honestly, the flavour of the eggs was absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to get straight into it. I've got some lovely fresh free-range eggs here, and I'm going to put 6 in a dish here. I'm going to keep my eggshells because I'm a keen gardener, and I crush them up, put them on the garden, keeps the snails off.
Oh, that's a good tip. We also keep them sometimes to clean our bowls with some with lemon and eggshell. That's a really good, makes a paste. So you whip that up, and then it cleans the bowl. Yes.
Never knew that.
Multiple.
All right, so we're going to put in a bit of salt and pepper, and I have a salt and pepper mix that I make myself that I really, really like out of pepper. And I put in all sorts of different things. As a chef, most chefs in restaurants have a salt and pepper or a seasoning mix, and I just use the Thermomix to mill it. And we've got about 130 ml of milk, fresh full cream milk, and I also like a little bit of Parmesan just for kicks. Now, this is the beauty about the Thermomix. You've got all those recipes on Cookie-Doo, but everything's incredibly flexible. We're going to just pour that in and quickly blend it just for a few seconds, and let's see, and not too fast. I reckon 6.5 is plenty, and because you don't want to aerate it, and that's probably enough, I would say.
So you need to say that again. You want to aerate them? Is that what you
don't want to aerate it?
Don't.
You do not want to aerate it. So there you go. If you switch to the other camera, you'll see that that's not fluffy. It's got a few sort of airs on bubbles on top, but it's definitely not aerated. So now I'm going to pour that back into the jug, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to pour into the bags. And I'm just going to whip over and wash my bowl.
All right, great. So,
Gianni, sorry to interrupt. There was regarding your great tip from earlier regarding the eggshells and lemon wash. How many eggshells, the lemon?
1 second. Can we just mute Chris for a second? So then it's a bit easier to talk to it or to talk on our topic. Yeah, great. So basically whatever eggshells you have. So if you have 2, 3 or 4, that's fine. A lemon, if you have half a lemon left, or one that's not doesn't look so fancy anymore, just cut it up and make a paste. And then you can fill it up with a little bit of water and also heat that up. And what happens then is the eggshells are basically they doing the scrubbing in there, and the acid from the lemon lifts up the rest. So you can cook that, let's say 10 minutes on 80 degrees or so, and then have a sparkling, fresh, clean bowl afterwards.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, there we go. All right, back to Chris. I think he's trying to go show us something really cool now.
Yeah, you can use your Ziploc bags without having to buy I've got a machine here. Okay, so better off to buy a nice one of those zippy little things you get from the mix shop. But if you had one of these bags, you can use a method where you sink the pressure of the water will press all the air.
We need to, 1 second. We want to have the other camera so we can look into the into your bowl.
Okay, so I've got that full of cold water, and I'm just going to place that in there slowly, and I will draw that across with about an inch to go. And the pressure of the water
takes the air out as well. That's so cool.
And have a look at that.
Yeah.
Vacuum packed.
That looks great.
And there you
but
go.
when you're using normal Ziploc bags, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you use a good quality that is BPA free, because you certainly don't want your food that you're making to taste like plastic bag, all right? So I've checked. I've got some cheap ones from IKEA. I haven't seen anything that they're BPA free, so I would not use IKEA bags to do some sous vide cooking in there. But the higher quality ones, and just read the label on the bags, they're absolutely fine to use as long as they're BPA free. So you do want to avoid that bag taste, the plastic taste, not when you're cooking like that. All right, so chef is also using the blade cover. Yep. Is Chris muted? Can't hear him. Katja is managing our chat, and Sandy is helping us with the spotlighting and the muting and unmuting. Now I think we've done a bit too much.
I asked him to unmute, so.
Oh, okay, Chris, you need to check your screen. Sorry, I think you're muted.
It's okay. I wasn't doing anything terribly important except washing the bowl. And I had the kettle on, and so I'm now just going to, I'm actually going to put that on kettle, just to get it up to temperature, and as soon as that's up to temperature, while I'm doing that, we've got my little jug here. Bit of spillage. Now, I'm going to do 2 bags today, because I want to tell you something about this particular recipe. Now, you can do it long and slow, or a bit quicker if you want. I'm just going to seal this bag. First of all, it's a bit long, so I'm going to just give it a trim. Now, I'm going to put this both bags in at 85 degrees, and as soon as and take one out a little bit sooner, because what I want to show you, if we get time at the end, I'll actually take one out that's been in for, well, as long as possible, because you can actually do this for 15 minutes at 85 degrees. And that's great if you're running around the house and you've got some washing to do or whatever. But you can also put it on at 65 degrees and it will not overcook. This is one of the reasons that chefs love sous vide is simply because you cannot overcook anything. At 65 degrees, your meat, your chicken, whatever, will not get past that cooking stage. I think 65 degrees is a medium to medium rare steak. And as I was saying to someone the other day, what they didn't realise was if you put that steak into your sous vide at 65 degrees, you can leave it there for up to 2 hours and it will never, ever get any further than medium to medium rare. Because a well done steak requires the flesh to be 90 degrees. And that's why if you want medium well, you set it at 90 degrees and it will stay at that cooking stage.
That's great tips there. Yeah, so with the eggs, if that's something you want to try, there's a couple of different recipes available. So there is the Skinny Mix's scrambled eggs that is similar to what Chris is showing us here today, but I've tried it and I wasn't happy with the results. So I showed my results to Chris and he goes, I can do that better. It's like, fantastic, I do the prawns. So I just want to encourage you, that's absolutely fine, just give it a go. But there is one other recipe when it comes to sous vide cooking, and honestly my very first sous vide dish that I made was the ultimate egg, and you can Google it. The ultimate egg is a sous vide egg that takes 60 minutes on 60 degrees, a full hour, and all you need to do is put the eggs in your simmering basket, make sure the eggs are covered with water, and and have them sitting in there for 1 hour. So put them in on Sunday morning before you take the dog out to the beach for a long walk, and return to an ultimate breakfast egg, which is a sous vide egg. And as we just heard from Chris, you can't overcook it. How cool is that? It's basically a poached egg in its shell. You don't need a bag and you don't need a vacuum sealer. So that's my hot tip. If you want to go into sous vide cooking, try the ultimate egg first. That's the easiest one you can do, and it's quite impressive too. Okay, so Chris, was there anything else we wanted to share? I wanted to talk with you quickly about the hygiene part.
And I'll just pop those into, it's ready, it's up to temperature. But the hygiene part's very, very important because even though this is absolutely fantastic, now 15 minutes, 85 degrees, it's a fantastic way of cooking. It's slow, it keeps the flavours in. Hygiene's absolutely essential because you're very, very, very close to the edge of the danger zone. The danger zone in cookery is 10 to 60 degrees. All hot food must be kept over 60 degrees to prevent bacterial contamination or bacterial growth. The bacteria love temperatures between 10 and 60. So if you're cooking between 60 and 65, you're pretty much on the edge. So, but nothing to worry about if you have good hygiene. Your water stays above 60, and you use the proper bags because, as Jenny said, you can buy very, very cheap Ziploc bags, and it will impart a plastic flavour into your food. You buy the good bags, good quality zip bags, or from the mix shop, or from those that go into a food saver machine. Then it's all food quality, Australian government food authority, all authorised plastic. So
That's good. That's good to know. Yeah. So, and I had well, we can quickly come back to me, Katja. Yes. So danger zone is 10 to 60 degrees. So that's why you should keep your food also in the thermal server not longer than up to 2 hours. Correct. Because then that you will enter with your food, you will enter the danger zone. So that's why we say up to 2 hours and not longer. Then you need to pop it in the fridge just to keep it safe. I bought myself this little booklet here, so I can't share. Don't make noise. It's German. So I saw it last year in a bookshop. I was like, oh, I want to learn all about it. And that's basically why I also picked that up with about the food hygiene. And they do recommend that you wash your meat and your fish, tap it dry before you pop it in the bag, just for the very hygiene reason. Okay, so let's just check in with Megan how the strawberries are going. If not, then we can come over to my prawns.
Hello, yes. My strawberries actually just finished just then, so good timing. So take off your lid. Might get a plate. And use some tongs because it's hot. And here come the strawberries. So you just take these out and you can see there's the basil still there. You remove the basil and this needs to be chilled. So I have already done one of those yesterday. Yay. So they're nice and cold. Although I didn't take the basil out because I wanted to show you what it sort of looks like. So it could be intensely basil flavoured by today. Anyway, so you can just open that up. And the smell is really beautiful, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I've got my little cups and we're just going to put that into there. I've actually got, it makes 6, but I've got 2 boys in my house who don't like strawberries, so I'm going to just do 4. I don't know earlier.
Megan, we just have a question in the chat.
Yep.
How long for the strawberries and on what temperature? What temperature?
It was actually at 15 minutes at 80 degrees.
Ah, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so these are the cold ones. I can remove my basil. I have a little bit of fresh basil ready to go to put on them. Now, I don't think you can see that there, but I'll show you in just a moment. And what I also thought was nice was maybe it might be nice to grate a little bit of something on the top, or so that's a bit better. So I thought maybe some lime zest might be nice, or you could do some grated chocolate, seeing I do have the chocolate on the bottom. Or orange zest would be nice as well. And also, if you wanted to have, a little bit of the texture difference, you could have some fresh strawberries too. And they're going to be a little bit more tart than the other ones. So I'll pop a few of those up. And some basil. And pop over here. Maybe I've got a little bit of lime zest, sorry. Put that on.
We would love to see your camera a little bit closer to you.
Okay. Here we go.
That's okay.
Anyway, here it is here. Looking quite delicious. And it's really very simple, but I think the impact is quite impressive. So we will be enjoying some white chocolate mousse tonight with sous-vide strawberries.
Fantastic. It looks stunning. You are my dessert queen. I just can't help it. You always make the fanciest desserts in our cooking classes. Sorry.
No,
thanks
not
again.
Really. Easy. All right. Any questions there?
No questions. Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you.
That recipe is actually available on Cookie Dough, which is super easy for you to start after the ultimate eggs. So I think we're coming back to my kitchen now, Katja, because you already heard Tom, my Thermomix, was asking me to come and pay attention. So I'm doing the exact same thing like Megan just did. So using my tongs and get the bag out. All right, so I want to show you. So as you can see, this is what I mean. So they have this is the melted butter now, the garlic and the infused dill, you can see, and the prawns have been cooking in their own juices. So I'm going to, oops, here a bit closer. And I'm going to, so when I said earlier the bags are reusable, they do not recommend that you reuse them for meat cooking once you have cooked meat in it, but you can certainly wash them and use them for something else, maybe for storage. So you can store your nuts, for example, and suck the air out, and this way they are they are fresher for longer. So I'm going to use everything from this.
Could you put those bags in the dishwasher, Gianni?
I haven't tried yet, but I'm pretty sure you can, because they are heat resistant. So I couldn't see why not. Oh, and look at that! And also now I've got, this is like a fish stock that I could freeze. So I'm not going to throw that away, because that is full of flavor. And so I would potentially. So what I'm going to do with this, let it cool down, and then I'm going to vacuum it again, and then freeze the liquid, pop it just like it is into the freezer, and freeze this stock for another dish another time. Okay. So now I want to show you. I've plated up here my prawns, and here's the thing. So I tried them earlier, so I made them this week, and I've probably seen the teaser photo that I did. And it was a bit like chicken. So with prawns, I never ever managed to get them on the spot. So my husband had to try them when I made them the first time, and he was like, "Oh my dog, Gianni, what have you done? They are amazing. These are the best prawns you have ever made in your life." So if you're a little bit like me, have no idea what you're doing, but this way you can make prawns in restaurant quality and really impress your other significant half with that. So they could go in a salad, in a cocktail, or I'm just going to have them as is and enjoy them in a minute. So I would say we can go back to Chris. How are the eggs looking? 1 second. We need to... Chris, we can't hear you.
Sorry, there we go.
Yep.
Got to get used to that, don't I? So the eggs have only got a few minutes to go. Now, like with all, especially with baking, eggs, flour, all sorts of things, depends on the type of flour, where the eggs came from, how old they are. They will not all cook and set at the same time exactly. So what I will do is, as soon as the timer goes off, the 15-minute timer, I will check them, I'll have a look, and then we'll see if they need any more time. They might need 2 or 3 more minutes, or they might be ready just the way they are. So we'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll be right. Unless you want to talk about anything else.
So because Megan and I already finished up, I'm talking with my mouth full because I couldn't wait a second longer.
And I have a question actually, sorry, in the chat. There was someone asking.
Go for it.
A question for Chris. If we don't have a blade cover, as they're out of stock at the moment, I'm thinking we can still sous vide as the bag will rise to the top of the machine and the water if it's light? Question mark. Or will it just sink as there's no air in the bag?
Well, that I actually tried to sous vide some cherry tomatoes the other day, and they did float because cherry tomatoes are lighter than water. So it depends on what's in the bag. If you would put a steak in the bag or anything that's dense, it'll sink to the bottom. But I wouldn't risk it. Not a hope in hell. If you don't have a blade cover, simply use the basket. And that way, if you've got the basket, it'll limit the amount you can put in it, but it's better safe than sorry. You can put it in the basket, you can put that on top. It's not going to let anything rise out of the water, and it's going to protect your food from the blades.
Great tip, thank you.
Also, just whilst we're on the basket, actually, because we had a changeover from the design of the basket from the TM5, which didn't have the lid. That lid has been invented, or that has been attached only because of sous vide cooking. So to prevent exactly that from happening, that the bags will float all the way to the top, and the bags might block the hole from the inside, and that's going to be prevented when you have the lid. So this is automatically designed to create a gap. So even if the light ingredients flow to the top, they won't block the hole from the inside. So this is also a safety feature in there. I've read that if you have the problem that your food is too light, there is there's people are putting, for example, do you know these baking pearls that you can have, so the weights that you can put on when you do the baking, the blind baking? I have seen that people putting these weights also into their sous vide bag to make sure that they stay underwater. So just a food for thought there. If your ingredients in the bag are too light and they're swimming on top, and potentially they're not getting the whole temperature, even distribution. So that might be something you want to look into, just add in a little bit more weight. Or it can be another ingredient to flavor it with. One thing just came to mind and then it vanished again. What was that? I'm talking too much again.
Storing eggs. Now, if you saw the bowl of eggs I had here, I put some back into the carton that I hadn't used. They just look good in a bowl on the bench. But in fact, if you don't know, you should store your eggs with the pointy end up. I forget why, but it's got something to do with as they age and the gas releases, etc. like that. They'll just keep longer if you put them with the pointy end up.
Great tip there.
We got 1 minute to go.
That's fine. Because speaking of eggs, sometimes you get the question. We also had already a discussion in a different class earlier. How to store the eggs. So, and funnily enough, you can see sometimes eggs are stored in the shop, in the fridge, and sometimes you go into a different grocery stores and the eggs are in broad daylight and they're nowhere cooled. So the difference here is it depends if your eggs have been washed at the production or not. So normally an egg, if it comes out of the chicken, it's fine. So it's covered with the protection. Yeah, there you go. Protection membrane.
Correct.
And it's absolutely safe to store these unwashed eggs, not in the fridge, so they don't have to be cooled. So, but eggs that you usually buy in the fridge, they have been washed, and this means that protection membrane has gone. And this way, you should also store those eggs in the fridge to keep them safe.
Definitely, yes. Because without that membrane, the shell's actually porous, and it'll absorb oxygen and deteriorate the egg quicker. We should be just about ready.
Back to you then, Chris.
Okay.
It's just that this recipe is not on Cookie Dough, right? So you have...
That's right. Well, like you were
your...
saying that you did the Cookie Dough recipe and you weren't happy with it because, I mean, a lot of people would be, and it tasted great. But that was my challenge, and I said, right, I think I can do something to it and make it my own, because that's the beauty about. Oh, be careful! You should use tongs. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Perfect. All right.
Please, Chris.
Sorry.
Make that noise stop. Touch somewhere on the screen. Thank you.
And just do that. Okay?
Breaking them up.
Yep, just break up the eggs. Now I want to show you something else, depending on how much time we got. You can have that just the way it is, and it'll be absolutely sensational. Otherwise...
Okay.
I'm going to just empty that for a second. And didn't need blade cover, so this is why I've done it in 2 bags. Now, get my trusty scissors. Oh, no. Couple of sticks of asparagus. Cut off just the corner. And you might want to let it rest a little while because it's quite warm. And there you have the most unbelievable scrambled eggs you'll ever had, and a little bit more salt and pepper, and there you go. And something I prepared a little earlier, whammo. And I'm just going to put that up there for you to have a look at. Look, honestly, look at that. Wobble, wobble, wobble. That's what you want. It's got height. It's got, tastes fantastic. Now, I'm not finished there if you've got time.
Yeah, sure. We have another hour. I could watch you all day.
I'm just going to get a bit of spray oil. I'm going to take this. I'm going to undo the whole bag. For a second. Forgot. 1 second. I'm going to take some of the fresh sage and parsley from over the back there that you can see. Bit of butter. Give that 5 seconds on blend. Where's my blender? Okay. I think I'll only go down to 10, but listening to it.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep, done. Plenty of time.
Okay.
Okay.
That's blending the butter.
And the parsley and sage that I've put in there. Now, just have a look at that.
Yep.
Okay. Now the magic. I'm going to plonk that in there. Now for a more traditional scrambled eggs, Mum always put chopped parsley in them. They taste fantastic. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to go and blend again. Time as low as possible. 10 seconds. This time I want to go fairly slow. I don't want to... That'll do.
Okay, so that was, what, 1 second on speed? What speed was that?
It was 6.
Speed 6. Okay, just 1 second, speed 6 to scramble it up.
And, yes.
I can see it from here.
Now, being careful of the blades. And you could have even cooked that a little bit less. But some people like them firm. Some people like them soft.
Yeah.
And again, a couple of bits of asparagus. Bit of basil.
Oh.
There we go. Why'd the light just go out? And, of course, breakfast wouldn't be anything else without
an avocado.
And we'll put that.
We need the bowl back for the camera.
Bring the bowl back.
Yeah.
Sorry about my bum. And
so this is $23 right here for you for your scrambled egg breakfast on toast with some avocado.
Sorry about that. Fan that out.
Wow.
Clean up the plate a bit. Something else I actually wanted to mention before. When we talked this morning before the whole show.
Started, yeah.
Just some chef tips. I don't know if everyone knows this, but the cutting board there is very, very dangerous. What I should have done before was put a wet cloth down.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of cutting boards now have got little rubber stoppers on them, which is fantastic. But if I put that wet cloth down there and then the cutting board, I can't move that. I can't. If I get a knife and I'm cutting something, right, that board is not going to move now. It's not going to slip. I'm not going to cut my finger. So there's a professional chef tip.
Okay, wonderful. Can I just say, don't forget to take a photo. I really want to see these two versions of your scrambled eggs, and we need to share that. They look absolutely amazing. That's really, this is $20, $25, $23 each. Right then and there. So that's to me they look like ultimate eggs, if you ask me. So we have created today a couple of very simple sous vide dishes for you to get you into sous vide cooking. All right. So obviously the other dishes that are there, they're available on Cookie Doodle. You really should give them a go. Just give them a try if you like. They're all guided. And I'm pretty sure they will be amazing. Obviously, they take a little bit longer, so we can't squeeze that all in just in that 1 hour. So that's why we've chosen. Chris, we need to mute. Thank you. We need to mute Chris, please. Otherwise, you can't hear me. Thank you. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why we have I've chosen these recipes. So we have a little bit of protein with the prawns. We have some fruit. We've seen some asparagus spears being sous vide. All of these recipes, you can basically choose any recipe. It doesn't have to be Cookie Doodle. You do have the machine. You know from the other recipes the time and the temperature settings. Just go for it. Just give it a go and see the difference there. There's lots more tips. So, for example, with your meat, you can sear them beforehand. So, with your meat, just pop them for a couple of seconds into the pan, season them, and then put them in the bag. This way, the roasting flavors will also go into the meat. But there's also the reverse options available, that you sous vide it first and then have it in the pan quickly for a couple of seconds. So try different ways of doing that if you want to create something special. You've learned today a lot of the basics, and all I can do is encourage you to give it a go and try something chefy, something a little bit more outside of your comfort zone, and see how you go. Let us know how you go, how you like it, and show us your results on the Facebook page, on the Bayside Thermomix community. Join us there, and we would love to see and hear your success with that. All right, that was it from us for you today. I hope you're going to join us next week again. We are going to get into shape and present you a couple of light summer meals. And we can't wait for you to come back and enjoy the rest of this weekend. Bye for now. Thanks, everyone.